Ladies and gentlemen, respect is not demanded, it is not bought, it is not something you beg for. True respect is earned through character, through actions, through the way you carry yourself in this world. But before we talk about earning respect, let's talk about what takes it away. Because sometimes it's not about what we must do, it's about what we must let go. Too often, people spend their lives searching for validation from others, believing that their worth is tied to external approval. They shape their words, adjust their behaviors, and suppress their true desires, all in the hope of being accepted. The need for validation is deeply ingrained in human nature, but when it becomes a driving force, it turns into a barrier, one that prevents authenticity and self-respect. When we constantly seek validation, we unknowingly hand over control of our self-worth to others. We start living according to their expectations, molding ourselves into what we think they want us to be. This endless pursuit creates an illusion of fulfillment, but it is temporary. The compliments, the applause, and the approval feel good for a moment, but they fade quickly, leaving behind an emptiness that demands to be filled again. The cycle continues, and soon we find ourselves trapped in a prison of insecurity, desperately seeking approval that never truly satisfies. The irony is that the more we chase validation, the less we are respected. People do not admire those who are desperate to please. Instead, they respect those who are confident in their own worth, who do not bend to fit into someone else's expectations. When someone is constantly seeking validation, it signals uncertainty, and uncertainty does not inspire respect. On the other hand, those who stand firm in their beliefs, who pursue their passions without needing approval, naturally command admiration. Breaking free from the need for validation starts with realizing that self-worth is not something that can be given by others. It is something that must be built from within. The opinions of others will always change. One day they may praise you, and the next day they may criticize you. If your confidence is built on their words, it will always be unstable. True respect comes when you decide that your value is not determined by external validation, but by your own integrity, principles, and actions. People who earn genuine respect are those who dare to be different, who embrace their individuality, and who stand strong even when they are misunderstood. They do not wait for permission to pursue their dreams, nor do they fear rejection. They understand that not everyone will agree with them, and that is perfectly okay. The moment you stop seeking validation from others is the moment you start gaining true respect, both from yourself and from the world around you. Breaking promises to others damages trust, but breaking promises to yourself is even more destructive. Every time you make a commitment to yourself and fail to follow through, you chip away at your own confidence, discipline, and self-respect. These promises may seem small, waking up early, sticking to a goal, following a plan, but their impact is enormous. When you break them repeatedly, you send a message to yourself that your words don't matter, that your goals aren't important, and that your discipline is negotiable. Self-respect is built on consistency. It is easy to make a promise in moments of motivation, but respect is earned in the moments when no one is watching, when it's just you and your decision to either follow through or walk away. People who keep their promises to themselves develop an inner strength that radiates outward. They build an unshakable foundation of trust within, and that trust turns into confidence. This confidence is what earns respect from others, because the world admires those who have control over their actions, emotions, and choices. On the other hand, when you continuously break promises to yourself, you create a pattern of self-doubt. You say you will start working out, but you quit after a few days. You promise to take action on a dream, but you delay it with excuses. Over time, these small betrayals add up, and they reinforce the belief that you are incapable of following through. The worst part is that once this belief is formed, it becomes a cycle. You stop trusting yourself, and because of that, you stop even trying. People who earn respect, both from themselves and others, are those who keep their word even when it's difficult. They understand that self-discipline is not about feelings, it's about commitment. There will always be moments of doubt, moments of laziness, moments of temptation, but those who succeed push past them. They treat their own promises with the same level of importance as a promise made to someone they deeply respect. The moment you start taking your own commitments seriously, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your discipline strengthens, and the world starts to recognize the power of your presence. You stop needing validation from others because you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, the world follows. Fear is the invisible chain that holds people back from reaching their full potential. It whispers doubts, magnifies risks, and convinces you that staying in your comfort zone is safer than stepping into the unknown. Fear is not always loud. Sometimes it is a quiet hesitation, a subtle resistance, a lingering what if that keeps you from taking action. It stops dreams before they begin, silences voices before they are heard, and weakens confidence before it is ever built. The tragedy is not that fear exists, it is that too many people allow it to control them. People who let fear dictate their choices live in a cycle of hesitation. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect guarantee that everything will work out, but that moment never comes. The truth is, fear does not disappear before action. It disappears because of action. Those who are respected, those who achieve great things, are not fearless. They feel fear just like everyone else. The only difference is that they do not let it decide for them. They move forward despite it, understanding that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep going in its presence. Fear convinces you to avoid failure, but in doing so, it ensures that you never grow. Every successful person has faced rejection, criticism, and moments of doubt. The difference is that they did not allow those moments to define them. They learned from failure instead of running from it. The people who are most respected in this world are the ones who have walked through fire, faced uncertainty, and stood strong even when everything around them seemed to be falling apart. The moment you stop letting fear control you, you reclaim your power. You realize that most of the things you feared were just illusions exaggerated by your mind. The more you step forward, the smaller fear becomes. Others will begin to respect you, not because you never feel afraid, but because you refuse to let fear paralyze you. Confidence is not built by waiting for fear to go away. It is built by proving to yourself, time and time again, that fear does not get to control your life. And when you develop that mindset, when you refuse to let fear hold you back, you earn not only the respect of others, but more importantly, the respect of yourself. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that can shape a person's life. But the question is, will you control it or will it control you? Fear is natural. It is the mind's way of protecting you from danger. But when fear stops you from pursuing your dreams, speaking your truth, or taking necessary risks, it becomes a prison. It keeps you trapped in the comfort of the familiar, even when you know that growth lies beyond it. It makes you hesitate, overthink, and second-guess yourself until opportunities pass you by. The worst part is that fear does not always appear as panic or terror. It often comes disguised as self-doubt, procrastination, or the excuse of waiting for the right time. People who let fear control them live life cautiously, constantly worrying about failure, rejection, and judgment. They avoid risks, thinking they are protecting themselves, but in reality, they are only limiting themselves. They watch from the sidelines as others take bold steps forward, wondering why confidence seems to come so easily to them. But here's the truth: confident people feel fear just like everyone else. The difference is they do not let it stop them. They understand that fear is a test, not a barrier. It is not a signal to stop, it is a challenge to rise. The most respected people in this world are not those who never felt fear, but those who acted despite it. They are the ones who stepped onto the stage even when their voice trembled, who took risks even when failure seemed inevitable, who chose growth over comfort time and time again. They did not allow the fear of judgment to silence their voice, nor did they allow the fear of failure to hold them back from trying. They understood that the only way to overcome fear is to face it, to walk through it, and to prove to themselves that they are stronger than their doubts. Fear loses its power when you take action. Every step forward weakens its grip, and with each small victory, your confidence grows. Others will respect you, not because you never feel afraid, but because you refuse to let fear dictate your choices. True strength is built in moments of uncertainty, and those who embrace those moments earn not only the respect of others, but, more importantly, the respect of themselves. Gossip and criticism are some of the easiest habits to fall into, yet they are among the most damaging to your character. It takes no effort to talk about others, to pick apart their mistakes, to highlight their flaws. But what people fail to realize is that when they engage in gossip, they are not revealing anything about the person they are speaking about. They are revealing everything about themselves. The habit of constantly talking about others, whether to entertain, judge, or bring them down, weakens your credibility and diminishes your influence. People who earn respect do not waste their energy tearing others down. They do not sit in circles whispering about someone else's failures or discussing someone's personal life as if it were entertainment. Instead, they focus on their own growth, their own goals, and their own path. They understand that greatness does not come from dragging others down. It comes from lifting yourself up. The strongest, most confident individuals do not feel the need to criticize others because they are too busy improving themselves. Criticism, when constructive, can be valuable, but when it is driven by jealousy, insecurity, or the need to feel superior, it does nothing but spread negativity. Those who constantly point out the flaws in others often do so to distract from their own shortcomings. But the truth is, no one ever gained real respect by being the loudest critic in the room. People respect those who lead by example, who inspire through their actions, and who uplift rather than degrade. Gossip also destroys trust. The moment you engage in it, you send a message that you cannot be trusted. If you talk about others behind their backs, people will assume you do the same to them. Over time, your words lose value and people distance themselves, knowing that negativity follows wherever you go. The most respected individuals are those whose words are filled with wisdom, encouragement, and purpose. They are known not for spreading rumors, but for sharing ideas, not for criticizing, but for guiding, not for gossiping, but for inspiring. If you want to earn respect, focus on yourself, speak with intention, act with integrity, and refuse to participate in conversations that serve no purpose other than to bring others down. The more you choose to rise above gossip and criticism, the more people will admire and respect you, not just for what you say, but for who you are. Complaining is one of the easiest habits to fall into, yet it is one of the most destructive. It requires no effort, no courage, and no responsibility. Anyone can sit back and talk about how unfair life is, how difficult their circumstances are, or how others have it easier. But the truth is, complaining does not change anything. It does not solve problems, nor does it earn respect. People who constantly complain believe they are expressing frustration. But what they are actually doing is proving their lack of control over their own lives. Every moment spent complaining is a moment wasted. It is energy that could have been used to find a solution, to take a step forward, or to build something better. The most respected people in this world are not those who dwell on what is wrong, but those who take action to make things right. They understand that life will never be perfect, that challenges will always exist, and that circumstances will not always be in their favor. But instead of using these realities as an excuse, they use them as motivation. They refuse to be victims of their situations and instead become creators of their own success. When you complain, you give away your power. You place the responsibility for your life in the hands of others, your boss, the government, society, or even fate. You convince yourself that you are stuck, that nothing can change, and that the world is to blame. But the moment you stop complaining and start acting, you take that power back. You realize that while you may not control everything, you always control your response. And it is your response that determines whether you stay in the same place or move forward. People who are respected do not waste time on excuses. They take ownership of their failures and use them as lessons. They do not wait for perfect conditions. They create opportunities with what they have. They are solution-driven, focused, and relentless in their pursuit of growth. This is why they stand out, why they inspire, and why people admire them. If you want to earn respect, stop complaining and start moving. Take responsibility for your actions. Make decisions with confidence and show the world that no setback is strong enough to break you. The difference between those who succeed and those who remain stuck is not luck. It is the ability to take action instead of making excuses. The greatest tragedy in life is not failure, but the refusal to see your own potential. So many people live far below their capabilities, not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunities, but because they fail to recognize what they are truly capable of achieving. They settle for less, not because they have to, but because they believe they are not meant for more. They listen to their doubts, accept limitations placed upon them by society, and choose comfort over growth. But the moment you ignore your own potential, you also ignore the respect you could earn from yourself and from others. People who fail to recognize their potential often make excuses. They say they are too old, too young, too inexperienced, or too busy. They tell themselves that success is for other people, those who are lucky, those who are born with privilege, those who somehow have it easier. But the truth is, the most successful and respected individuals are not the ones who had the best starting point. They are the ones who refuse to settle. They understood that talent alone is not enough. It is the belief in oneself that truly creates greatness. Ignoring your own potential is like having a locked treasure chest inside you but refusing to find the key. Every dream you push aside, every skill you fail to develop, every opportunity you ignore because of fear or self-doubt is a loss not just for you but for the world. The people who inspire us, the leaders we admire, the game changers in history, they were all ordinary people who simply chose to believe in themselves when no one else did. They pushed past their fears, worked tirelessly, and unlocked the potential that was always within them. The world respects those who recognize their worth and live up to it, those who know they have something valuable to offer and work relentlessly to bring it to life. Respect is not given to those who sit on the sidelines, waiting for someone to tell them they are capable. It is given to those who take action, who push boundaries, and who prove through their actions that they are more than what society expected them to be. The moment you stop ignoring your potential and start embracing it, everything changes. Your confidence grows, your opportunities expand, and people start seeing you as someone worthy of admiration. The only thing standing between you and the respect you seek is your willingness to believe in yourself. Respect is not demanded. It is earned through the choices you make every single day. When you stop seeking validation, keep your promises, face your fears, and refuse to waste energy on gossip or complaints, you become the kind of person others look up to. When you recognize your potential and take action instead of making excuses, you inspire those around you. The world does not respect those who remain stuck in their comfort zones. It respects those who rise above challenges, who lead with integrity, and who refuse to settle for less than they are capable of. The moment you commit to becoming that person, respect will follow. Not because you chased it, but because you became worthy of it.